Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Thursday, March 19th, the day before Friday. Thank you, Jesus. There is so much happening in the world today and so much chaos. You guys see the headlines of today's show. The Mad King Donald Trump will feed our children to his war machine in Iran, with ground troops now seeming imminent. March 18th, this is from Reuters. President Donald Trump's administration is considering deploying thousands of U.S. troops to reinforce its operation in the Middle East. So, U.S. troops, boots on the ground. And this is as the U.S. military prepares for possible next steps in its campaign against Iran, says a U.S. official and 3 people familiar with the matter. So this is outrageous. It's utterly contrived. And yes, this could absolutely, positively lead to a draft. Thank you, John McCain, by the way, in your later days in office, for expanding the draft to our young girls as well as our young boys. But this is outrageous. This is outrageous. Every parent, every mom needs to understand what these predators are doing and how they are destabilizing not only the U.S., but the entire globe. What is happening in Iran with liquid natural gas, or liquefied natural gas, the LNG crisis, the Straits of Hormuz, skyrocketing oil and gas prices. We have all kinds of stories here for you today. I am convinced at this point that nothing about this is by accident. Yes, it's a war, but it's an absolutely contrived war, and they have no problem feeding our children to their war machines. They're not satisfied with simply eating the babies or shooting up the babies with poison vaccines and poison shots. No, they want to send our kids to war. They do not care. And I am convinced, I pushed this out on Twitter this morning, that the United States and Israel are obliterating the world oil supply. They're shutting down international trade routes and implementing chaos. And all of this is on purpose. This is not kinetic war. It is a controlled demolition of our markets, our freedom, our way of life, stability, security, as it all descends into chaos. They will use this, mark my word, to usher in lockdown 2.0, the energy edition. And I have an entire list of countries across the globe, from Asia to Europe, that are now implementing COVID-19 style lockdowns, only using energy as the excuse to do so. Watch that come to the United States of America very soon. Price controls. Jeffrey Tucker on Twitter this morning. We are going back and forth about the insanity. The insanity. We are run by mad kings. These people are crazy. Robert Barnes, by the way, I have a clip of Robert Barnes on InfoWars saying what everyone is thinking, that Donald Trump has gone King Lear mad, like the mad king. These people are insane. Jeffrey Tucker saying that there is a 50% likelihood of price controls imminent in the United States of America as a result of all of this. Trump and Netanyahu are creating chaos, and they're doing so purposefully, trying to impoverish and kill billions, including their own people, while calling it a war. Their goal, as we are all beginning to understand, and is becoming absolutely obvious to anyone with a brain cell, is to reset the world order, cull the human population, and plunder the wreckage. Then they will seize everything that they possibly can, the land, the air, the water. They'll divvy it up amongst themselves and all of their global cronies and build back better, right? That's the long goal, but it won't be better because they'll have everything, we'll have nothing, and they will have ushered in a 21st century slavery, more dystopian than anything we ever could have imagined with socialism or communism or fascism or any of the isms, right? A global technocratic surveillance state. This is what they're doing. This is what they're trying to do. And we need to stop them. That's just the bottom line. I have children. You have children. Maybe you have grandchildren. And this is not okay. And we can stop them, by the way. None of this crawling into the fetal position. Oh, woe is me. Trump betrayed me. It's all over. There's nothing we can do. We're not doing that here on the SJ show. There is plenty we can do to take these guys out. And we're going to have to be talking about those, everything and anything but the kitchen sink over the next 12 to 18 months. Because yes, they have all the money, they have all the power, and they're going for it. That's for sure. But that doesn't mean that their plans are fail-proof. That doesn't mean that we can't throw massive wrenches into their plans. And I intend to do so with anyone else and organize with anyone else across the country and the world to make sure that they don't get away with this. And so today we're going to welcome into the Joy Virtual Studio our expert in preparedness. That is Brett Miller. He is the CEO of Galileo. He's an expert in communications and preparedness. He's going to be with us at 1 p.m. Eastern Time to go over the news of the day and all of the ways that we can begin to emancipate ourselves from the federal government, our federal governments, who are run by literally mad kings. And then how to prepare so that we never fear. And that's the name of the game. Never fear. Never fear. And fight for justice. You know, God tells his people throughout the Old Testament and New 365 times, he tells us not to fear. We are not permitted to be afraid as Christians and believers. And God also tells us to seek justice over 400 times. In the Old Testament and New, God tells us to go out and seek justice. Doesn't mean we always get there. Doesn't mean we always win. Who is the final decider of whether or not justice is achieved? It's God himself. But that doesn't absolve us of the responsibility to seek it, to go for it, and to never, ever, ever give up. We're not permitted to fear. We're not permitted to give up. And we're not permitted to stick our heads in the sand and cry, woe is me, and wait for the rapture. That is not from the Lord. And we don't do that here on the SJ show. We have a lot of work to do. We have great guests lined up over the next 2 weeks. You guys are going to continue to benefit from the analysis of some of the brightest, best, most independent analysts in the world on the Shannon Joy Show. We feature a guest every day on this show because it's not just about my opinions. It's about going out and finding the clearest heads and the clearest voices that are not tethered to the two-party political system or agendas, global agendas, corporate agendas, political agendas. People who have been willing to sacrifice and lose because of their diligence to the truth. Those are the guests and the experts that we have on the Shannon Joy Show every day. And for those of you who are with me today, you know that. That's why you're still here. And that's why, despite censorship and suppression, the Shannon Joy Show continues to grow on all of our platforms. Today, we're live on Rumble. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Spreely TV and Roku TV. Loving the Substack audience, the Twitter audience. We're growing by leaps and bounds. Welcome to all of you who are watching on YouTube and on Facebook. We are growing well over 5 million impressions every month from this little engine that could, the Shannon Joy Show. No big political sponsors, no billionaire backers, none of that, just our advertisers, you and me meeting together every day at 12 p.m. Eastern Time to figure out what the hell is going on in the world independently. So thankful to Annie Cyrus, who's producing the show today. Could not do it without her. And we're going to hit it. We have a lot to talk about today on the show. Huge thank you to our sponsors. You're going to hear from the satellite phone store, anything and everything you need for preparedness. Speaking of rolling blackouts, brownouts, an energy crisis, rationing, lockdowns across the globe coming to the United States of America, you need a generator more than ever. You need a backup plan more than ever. We need to be thinking about preparedness, being ready for anything they throw at us. And that's the mission over at the satellite phone store. I love that team. Jennifer Shores and Tina. Brett Miller of Galileo works with the satellite phone store as well. They've been amazing partners with the Shannon Joy Show. Sat123.com. That is sat123.com. Make sure you use that JOY promo code. Not only will you get 10% off your entire order every time you shop, they'll also know that we sent you. And it's everything: solar panels, generators, Faraday bags and beanies, Faraday protection. They have bivy sticks, satellite phones, satellite phone packages. You name it, they have it at the satellite phone store, and you can get started today. The bug out bag is unbelievable. We've talked about that often with Brett Miller. And we're going to be talking to him just a little later today on the show. Of course, our friends over at the Wellness Company, you're going to hear from them today. Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold, generous sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. And of course, my all-time favorite, Dom Polano of PCM and Associates. I just had pops with him yesterday. Met up with Dom here in Rochester, New York. He's the very first ever sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show. He's my financial advisor, and I absolutely adore him. He's so trustworthy. He's been with me for 20 years. He's been a sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show for over 12. And he can be your financial advisor too. Go to PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com. Make sure you tell him that I sent you, and he will take extra special great care of all of you. So we have a lot to get to today. We're going to be talking about Energy Lockdown 2.0, the LNG crisis, what went down last night in the Middle East, in Qatar, which is sending shockwaves across the entire globe. People are now beginning to realize things are going to dramatically change for nearly every person on this planet. We have talk of famines, shortages, lockdowns. It's all there. Qatar Energy CEO unbelievably declaring force majeure. If you don't know that term, get used to it. This is after last night's events, major bombing and key energy infrastructure in the Middle East. This is now leading to Qatar Energy CEO telling Reuters, we may have to declare force majeure on long-term contracts for up to 5 years as a result of last night's bombings. For LNG, that's liquefied natural gas supplies to Italy, Belgium, Korea, and China. If you don't know what force majeure is, it's basically the shit has hit the fan. We can't guarantee anything. We can't take on any liability. No insurance, no guarantees. Every man for himself. It's a French term meaning superior force, referring to a contract clause that frees parties from liability when an extraordinary, unforeseeable event beyond their control, such as a natural disaster, war, or pandemic, prevents them from fulfilling obligations. This is unprecedented. Unprecedented. You couple that with the closure of the Straits of Hormuz, among other things, and we are up the creek without a paddle. I mean, this is insane. Annie, let's pull up the video from Robert Barnes, who joined InfoWars. And, you know, I'm not a huge fan of InfoWars. Alex Jones is a propagandist, an agent in my in my opinion, but you do get some nuggets out of there occasionally. And Robert Barnes nails it here with his analysis. I linked this in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. We are tethered to Mad Kings. I said 18 months ago, when Donald Trump first took office, or it was imminent that he was going to take office, that, you know, we are essentially on a flaming train going 100 miles an hour with a drunken conductor off a cliff. All right. I think I said that. It was maybe it was a month into Trump's first administration. That has come true. I mean, everything that I have told you about this president and this administration, all of the warnings that I gave to MAGA and MAHA, the coalition that came together to put in office the guy who did this to us in the first place. Lockdowns 1.0, COVID style, Donald Trump. Lockdowns 2.0, energy style, Donald Trump. I told you this was going to happen. This is why we couldn't give him the office of the presidency again. But of course, my voice and so many who are warning about this fell on deaf ears. Tragically, everything that we said is coming true. And I was thankful. A Daily Caller editor, Scott Moorfield, who I've met before, he's a lovely gentleman, at some of the Brownstone Institute retreats, messaged me this morning, publicly actually on Twitter, and he wrote this: Shannon, I'll admit it, I've discounted a lot of what you had to say over the past year because I wanted to believe things would be different, but sadly, it seems that you are being proven right in real time. And I can tell you, I have no gladness in that fact. In fact, I'm probably the only person presenting to you today that wants to be wrong about basically everything I tell you. Like, I desperately want to be wrong about the things that I truly believe are coming to pass. And I appreciated that from Scott. And here's the thing, very good people, it's very difficult. I think the release of the Epstein files, which play into all of this, the Epstein files are everything. Primarily the infrastructure of the global order and the way that the billionaires, the oligarchs, the crime families work together to engineer a crisis and profit not only from the crisis, but also from the solution and the rebuilding that happens after the crisis. It's laid out. Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates in their communications showed the infrastructure of pandemic for profit at every step of the way throughout the chaos. They are profiting. And you can expand that from pandemics to wars to an energy crisis, a natural disaster, you name it. They have built in an apparatus to profit from that and absolutely decimate the free market, the little guy, mom and pop businesses, small to medium sized businesses, human beings, our children. They are vicious, horrifying, wicked predators. And this is laid bare in the Epstein files, what they do to babies, what they do to children. Unbelievable. The headlines of 2026 center around revelations that our presidents, heads of state, military generals, and leaders are eating babies. It's enough to make you go mad. I can't believe I was with my hairdresser yesterday. And she's talking about this stuff. This is how you know this is all going mainstream. When your hairdresser is talking about how our leaders in Washington, D.C. eat the babies, then you know this has gone mainstream. And there is a broad understanding among regular people that the people who are in control are horrifyingly vicious. Horrifyingly vicious. And I said to her, I said, listen, I started my show 12 years ago. I thought I was going to analyze news headlines from a left-right perspective and deliver the news. Like, never in a million years did I imagine the headlines that I would be reading to you on a daily basis. They get more and more insane as each day passes, and they accelerate. And they build, one depravity builds upon another depravity. It bends your mind and tests our souls. And I said to Scott Moorfield, I appreciated his candor. And I appreciated him because, you guys know this. I lost a lot of friends. Every time I go up against Trump and refused to get on the Trump train and join the bandwagon, I lose about a third of my audience and half of my friends. That happened the first round and also the second round. So I'm used to it. I have very thick skin, but I appreciated his candor there. And I understand why people came from his perspective, because it's very difficult for normal people, regular people like you and me, who want to be good, to see the depravity of the wicked people who rule us, because it is so completely outside of our natural selves, of our nature in general. We can't see it. We can't fathom it. And this is why narcissistic sociopaths will make their way to political office, into heads of state, because they operate in a completely different world than the rest of us. Understanding that fact, I mean, here's the silver lining. There aren't many out there, but here's the silver lining. I'm so thankful that this Band-Aid is being ripped off, that the scales are falling from people's eyes, and they're realizing the nature of power, whether it's corporate power, governmental power, Democrat or Republican power. The consolidation of power in any given system will ultimately, inevitably corrupt the people who seek it. This is why we can't wait for political heroes. What is the new PSYOP now? Everyone is moving us into this Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Pauly Market is now predicting that Tucker Carlson is going to run for the presidency and he'll win in 2028. How quickly people move from one political idol to the next. Will we ever learn? I'm here to tell you today, Tucker Carlson is not going to save you. There are no white knights on horses in Washington, D.C. coming to save you. In fact, in order to get to D.C., you have to eat the babies. In order to even get to that power, you have to sell your soul. This is why I've advocated for so many of our organizers in states across the United States of America, never go to Washington, D.C. Don't go for power in Washington, D.C., because you have to give up a part of your soul in order to obtain that power. I was glad when Ron DeSantis lost the nomination to run for the presidency of the United States of America. I much prefer him and his coalition in Florida. I much prefer the devolution of power, the decentralization of power, to the states, but also to local governments. And that's where the key to our resistance is going to lie. We're going to be talking about local governments. We're going to bring Leslie Manookian on. I've been thinking about her lately. We have Levi Leatherberry coming on at the end of March. He is an expert in local organization, grassroots, building of organizational power outside of DC. So fascinating. I cannot wait to talk to him. And we're going to begin to do that here on the SJ Show. We are not going down with this ship, at least not on my watch. I don't know about all of you, but there is nowhere in my faith that I see curling up in the fetal position, sticking my head in the sand like an ostrich, and giving up as any type of viable option. And we're not going to do it. Clones, it's great to see you on the live chat. Interview G. Edward Griffin for him to talk about collectivism. He's been talking about it for 60 years. Yes, I'm actually working. I got a line on G. Edward Griffin. I would love, love, love to interview him on the SJ Show, and I will certainly work on that. So thank you to Scott Moorfield. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you who have been with me here on the SJ Show. Let's say hello to all of you on the live chats. And then we're going to go to a quick break. Then we are going to get into the news of the day. What went down in the Middle East regarding the liquefied natural gas crisis and what's going on with energy lockdowns across the globe, starting in Europe and will likely spread to the US and beyond. We're going to talk about that. And of course, Brett Miller is going to be with us right around 1 p.m. Eastern time. So let's say hello to those of you on the live chat. I see you on YouTube. David Borman, welcome to the SJ Show. Erica S. is on the Twitter. Great to see you on the SJ Show. And Erica's not happy. A draft. Were you as mad when Obama gave the #1 sponsor of terror pallets cash? What do you want? Those countries are run by dictators. Yeah, Eric S. I was mad when Obama did it. I'm mad when Joe Biden does things like this. And I'm mad when Trump does things like this. See, that's the difference between me and you. I'm equally angry with presidents who abuse their power in office. And I don't care if they're D's or R's. I'm very consistent, Eric S., in my analysis. And that's what drives the cult factions crazy and people like you crazy. So you might want to find another show. On YouTube, I see you, Sharon. Trump is pushing to get us into the tribulation period with all of this one world government garbage. Don't disagree. On Substack, we have Ollie. Great to see you on Substack. They've gamed this out thousands of times and they lose every time. I love that sentiment. Really, guys, 5,000 years of human history, and this cycle plays out every time. This is why I really am not fearful. Things are going to get pretty bad. People are going to suffer, but I'm generally cheerful and definitely not fearful. We just got to hunker down and do what we need to do to survive. And that's why I loved having Michael Yan on this week. He was on with us on Monday. We had an amazing conversation with Doc Malik yesterday. If you did not see my show yesterday with Doc Malik, you must see it. He's exactly the same, a realist, clear-eyed. His head is on straight. He knows what's coming. He's able to clearly identify who the villains are. By the way, it's the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay, they're both in on it. And, that goes for the rest of the political factions across the globe. He's from the UK. But he's very optimistic about it, very cheerful about everything, and understanding of the times that we live in and what we need to do. And so if you want to understand what's going on, but not feel like you have to stick your head in the oven after the show, watch my show yesterday with Doc Malik. Absolutely wonderful. Buskman, I see you on the live chat. I cannot wait to meet you, Buskman. Of course, we have our big summit coming up on Saturday, the Summit for Truth and Wellness. Cannot wait to meet Dr. William Makis for the very first time, bring him to Rochester, New York. I'm sorry, William Makis. And Buskman, I cannot wait to meet you as well. We are going to have breakfast. I got your message this morning, Buskman. And I think Guitar Lily is going to have breakfast with us as well. So that's going to be fantastic. And then, yes, amazing coming together of some of the most brilliant people. We had 230 people. We're probably going to likely have 250 when all is said and done from all across the country and even Canada. So we have people flying in from everywhere. It's going to be amazing. On Facebook, we have Anne-Marie Banfield. Great to see you, Anne-Marie. If anyone should be pissed, it should be Republicans running in November. Trump is systematically making it, she says harder, I say impossible, for them to win. Between the Epstein fiasco and the war, I have a feeling we will get slaughtered. Well, I don't disagree. On YouTube, we have T Creation Studios. Great to see you. Oh, thank you so much. You will need a mod sooner or later on YouTube. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's go to the live chat on Rumble. Char Light, great to see you. Great comment. The con man has been a con man his whole life. Now all see the evilness of what is done to beautiful, innocent children. It always was shocking to see so many do not research and trust this dark, dark man. Stunning testimony on the floor, I believe, of the Senate. New revelations in the Epstein files about horrifying abuse that Donald Trump inflicted on a child. And there is a report, there is a testimony. I haven't gone into it too deeply. I've only seen some snippets of it, but it's utterly horrifying. And we'll cover it early next week on the SJ show. These people are monsters, absolute monsters, and we have to stop them. We absolutely have to stop them. JCH55, great to see you on the live chat. I have another piece linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show that you're going to want to take a look at and that we'll touch in just a moment. We're going to go to break. It's entitled A War Based on a Lie. All of the chaos, everything that is going wrong, all of the suffering that you and your family are going to endure as a result of this ridiculous, unnecessary, and contrived war was all based on a lie. There's nothing new under the sun, right? Once again, they completely lied to us. And the big lie was that weapons of mass destruction and the creation and deployment of weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, was imminent from Iran. Total, absolute, complete whopper of a lie. One lie on top of another lie, wrapped in a falsehood and, shoved out to the people. And this is what Robert Barnes, I mentioned to Annie to get the video ready of Robert Barnes on InfoWars. By the way, Robert Barnes, huge supporter of Donald Trump. Okay. I mean, he was 100% all in. Many of the people today, by the way, who you are hearing from, Tucker Carlson included, Robert Barnes, Alex Jones, Viva Frey, like all of them, all of the big squawkers out there who are now lamenting everything that the Mad King is doing. These were people who pushed him into office, used their massive platforms to push them into office. And, I don't have a beef with Robert Barnes, but those are just the facts. So make sure when you are looking for sources, look for people who are consistent. There are very few of us out there, myself included, who have been consistent for the past 12 years. Okay. But I'm glad that Robert Barnes is now using his platform and the InfoWars platform to push out what is the truth. This is what he had to say about the Mad King Donald Trump. By the way, I've been the one who has coined the Mad King Donald Trump, so don't take it from me. But Annie, do you have that video ready to go?
For the administration in order to get continuing access and frankly lie about what's happening with Trump. The people on the right and the institutional media and a lot of the influencer space are out there regurgitating the Fox News BoomerCon MIC slop when they know it's nonsense. The reality is President Trump used to be someone who understood the risk of Middle Eastern regime change war. President Trump used to be someone who would listen to others and try to get second, third, and fourth opinions. He no longer is. When I was up in D.C. in January, I was told by high-ranking officials in the Trump administration that they had been specifically told, do not share any negative information with the president. He only wants to hear things that he will interpret positively. If you share negative news, then you are at risk of being isolated from any degree of influence in the administration. That's how bad it is. Trump has developed memento memory. And that's why you've seen him say things that are just patently false, provably false about this conflict in the first 2 weeks, contradict himself repeatedly, sometimes in the same statement, sometimes in the same post. I mean, you just saw it in the last 24 hours. President Trump went out begging for NATO assistance. All the other NATO allies said, no, thank you. And so what does he post today? Well, I never wanted anybody's assistance. Well, you're the one on record just asking for it 24 hours ago. This is the sort of delusional mindset that the president is currently in. He is going King Lear mad. That is the reality of it. Everybody up there knows it. Everybody connected to the administration knows it. Matt Boyle knows it. So he's out there lying, talking about, President Trump's known for his great listening skills. Well, just listen to what President Trump said today. What President Trump said today is that he doesn't want anyone around that disagrees with him about Iran. He publicly said it. So quit pretending he wants to listen. Quit pretending he's a good listener. Quit pretending he's getting second, third, and fourth opinions. He's not. His own Pentagon told him the Straits of Hormuz would be closed. His own Pentagon told him that they would counterattack throughout our bases throughout the Gulf. So did the National Intelligence Report that is authored by Tulsi Gabbard and others that brings all of our intelligence together, told him there would be no regime change in Iran with this attack. And yet, what did he do? He just ignored it. And not only does he ignore it, he literally memory holes it. And, like the movie Memento, it disappears and vanishes into a form of amnesia. And instead of being sort of honest about all of this, instead that's why you see him say things that everybody knows are false. Says, nobody thought they would attack our bases in the Gulf. Iran publicly said they would. What in the world are you talking about? Oh, no, everybody thought the regime would collapse. No, your own National Intelligence Report said no, it wouldn't. Nobody thought they would close the Straits of Hormuz. That's been part of the simulated strategy for conflict with Iran for 30 years.
Annie, we're good. That was Robert Barnes. I like that Robert Barnes. I like that Robert Barnes a lot more than the Trump humping Robert Barnes, who was pushing Donald Trump into office. Those are fighting words. That is the posture that every clear-minded conservative or Republican American should have. Unhinged, King Lear mad in his description of Donald Trump, one lie after another lie after another lie, lies so fast that you cannot even keep up with them. And I think he absolutely nails what is happening here. Now, we all understand that Donald Trump is a puppet. Okay, he's a political actor. He's not really in control, but that doesn't mean he isn't going mad. And that doesn't mean he isn't dragging us all along with him on his crazy train. This is why we have to separate from him and call him out. We know that Bibi Netanyahu is a puppet. We know that they are on strings, that they are controlled by other factions, global factions, criminal cartels, family cartels, oligarchs, you name it. They're out there, that shadow government. But at the same time, we need to take these guys out because they are the figureheads of power. And they've lost their minds. They've lost their minds. Thank you to Robert Barnes. I appreciate the clarity and the candor from Barnes. When we come back, we're going to look at what is happening with the energy crisis, what happened overnight in the Middle East that is now leading to massive global lockdowns. Lockdown 2.0 during the Ides of March, 6 years after Trump locked us down in the first place. Trump now responsible for what appears to be another prolonged global lockdown, only this time it's because of an energy crisis. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. We're going to hit that when we come back right here on the SJ Show. But I do want to talk about parasites. So as you know, there's been a big medical hack of 2025. Everyone's talking about parasites. In fact, my husband, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy, was recently talking about parasites as well. It's one of those topics that just has not made its way into the mainstream conversation about why we get sick, right? You go to the doctor and it's either a virus or a bacteria or virus, but you never hear a doctor ever saying, well, maybe it's a parasite, right? So there's a lot of emerging research on this. And one of the best thing that's happened in 2025 was several peer-reviewed studies that identified direct connections between anti-parasitic medications having off-label benefits, fighting a variety of cancers. So this makes a lot of sense. The connection between tumor growth and parasites has been known for years. Now, while currently the CDC remains silent, they have admitted, finally, that millions of Americans are suffering from parasitic infections that often go undetected or undiagnosed. This is why Dr. Peter McCullough, Chief Scientific Officer over at the Wellness Company and the world's most published cardiologist, says, quote, these studies make a clear case to do at least one medical grade parasite cleanse every single year. And the TWC parasite cleanse is the real deal. This is not your mother's cleanse. This is not some supplement. This is an amazing product. It is the Wellness Company's proprietary USA compounded ivermectin plus mebendazole. It is a doctor prescribed gold standard combination dose, and it's designed to help the body eliminate parasites plus a lot of other incredible benefits. Each bottle contains 90 capsules, and it's enough to complete a 21-day cleanse. So the formula cannot be found at your local pharmacy. There's no equivalent out there. But the Wellness Company removes all of that red tape by making the process fully digital. So all you have to do is fill out a quick intake form. A doctor will review the form, and your medical grade parasite cleanse will arrive to you within a week. So this is a once a year cleanse. It is worth every penny. And it's time for people to get healthy and pay attention to the parasites. So head to twc.health/joy right now. twc.health/joy. That is my landing page. If you use the promo code JOY, that's JOY, they're going to take $60 off your parasite cleanse. Plus, they're going to give you free shipping. That is only at twc.health/joy. That is twc.health/joy. Annie has popped up the QR code in the corner of the screen. You can click on that or just hover your phone over it to go right to my site and enjoy a very special gift for the SJ audience, $60 off plus free shipping on every order when you use the Joy promo code. And by the way, use the Joy promo code every time you shop at TWC. If you're already plugged in, you're already using some of their products, make sure you use that JOY code so they know I sent you. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Let's hit the live chats very quickly before we get into what went down in the Middle East last night. The LNG crisis, which is now leading very quickly to energy lockdowns 2.0, devolving very quickly. There's panic out there for the first time. Clips from Fox News, Fox Business, and they're very jittery about what's happening in the markets because of the contrived war being waged by Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump. And very interesting, Tulsi Gabbard just admitted, apparently, in her testimony to the Senate, that the assessment of imminent threat from Iran with nuclear weapons was actually not determined by the intelligence community, which is where it should be determined, but by the Mad King himself. So Donald Trump is deciding whether or not himself, he just invents it in his mind, who is a threat, who isn't a threat, and who are we going to bomb today or tomorrow? Again, my analysis was spot on. A train, a crazy train with a drunken conductor going 100 miles an hour, flaming off a cliff. This is what we are dealing with in the US, and it's just not okay. Fiona Rose Diamond, I see you on X. I love you. Met Fiona. She is one of the fiercest organizers and advocates out of the UK. We met in the Netherlands just about a week ago as we continue the fight for justice. Very important case against Bill Gates, Albert Bourla, and Dutch officials in the Netherlands, establishing culpability, liability for the millions they injected and the devastating impact of the COVID shots. And Fiona is absolutely amazing. We're going to get her on the SJ show ASAP. Appreciate your comment. That was a powerful monologue, Shannon. Love and respect from the UK. Right back at you, my friend. And I cannot wait to kick up some hornet's nests with you again, Fiona, in the Netherlands and maybe in the UK as well. On the Rumble live chat, Charlotte, thank you so much. Shannon, I see you living in truth and bringing it forward as the light. You shine brighter and brighter. The angels are with you. Thank you so much, Charlotte. And you always keep up the beautiful truth you bring to others. Really appreciate you. Lou Melcon, thank you, Shannon, for always mixing encouragement with the dreadful news. And there is so much dreadful news out there. You have to keep laughing or else you will put your head in the oven. And so we don't want to do that. We want to continue to be positive. We're going to bring Brett Miller in on the SJ show in just a moment. But let's first establish just the lies, just so that we can establish how horrifying the lie was, the entire justification of this devastating, horrifying quagmire of a war that we are now involved in, which is only going to escalate, all of it based on a lie. Great piece written by Judd Legum, and his Substack is Popular Information. The title is A War Based on a Lie. The Trump administration's Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee on Wednesday. Prior to her testimony, she submitted a written copy of her opening statement. And this was the following passage about Iran. As a result of Operation Midnight Hammer, Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated. There has been no effort since to then try and rebuild their enrichment capability. The entrances to the underground facilities that were bombed have been buried and shuttered with cement. That's what they told us however many months ago. So in other words, the Trump administration's bombing campaign last June, which they told us obliterated Iran's capability to build and deploy a nuclear weapon. This is what they told us. Iran had no ability to enrich uranium. Since then, the Iranian regime has made no efforts to restore its ability to enrich uranium. And without the ability to enrich uranium, Iran cannot produce a nuclear weapon. So Gabbard's testimony was consistent with the views of the outside experts and completely inconsistent with her commander-in-chief, who, despite the reality and the truth of absolutely no imminent danger whatsoever, decided to engage us now in World War III, which is going to result in World War III. And again, he is now saying, Reuters reported that they are going to deploy ground troops into Iran. That means that the draft is on the table. That means your boys and girls, our babies, now fed into Donald Trump's war machine. Disgusting. Disgusting. We should impeach him. This is leading last night to the LNG crisis. So, I mean, liquefied natural gas. We'll talk about this with Brett in just a moment. Actually, maybe I'll read these headlines with Brett now that he's here, because we have two pieces of analysis here. What happened last night with liquefied natural gas? What that means to we the people here in the U.S., but across Europe, and energy lockdowns 2.0. Why don't we go for this first, and then we'll take a break. We'll bring Brett in. But, you know, the bombing in Qatar, which is the world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas, has now triggered massive supply disruptions, price spikes, fears of prolonged shortages, especially for gas-dependent regions like Asia and Europe. Now, Trump has no problem with this, right? Because we have gas to sell, I guess. And he's saying that, you know, all of these problems in the Middle East, well, it's raising the price of gas, which is skyrocketing. And he's saying, oh, well, we're making a lot of money. Who's making the money? Donald Trump. Not us. Not me. Bill Maher accurately expressed that sentiment on his show last night. They're making money. They're plundering. They're enriching their cronies. They're destroying everything, plundering so that they can build it back better and enslave us in the process. We're not benefiting from any of this. And so this matters, obviously, because Qatar supplies about 20% of the global liquefied natural gas exports. I mean, it's a huge, huge number. And when you couple that with the closure of the Straits of Hormuz, it's placing pressure everywhere. Removing 20% of that supply literally overnight. Okay, literally overnight. It's an unprecedented shock. It's far worse than anything that we've ever seen. And it actually led to the CEO of Qatar Energy declaring force majeure, which is insane. I mean, that's never happened. So all of this is unprecedented. And as a result, we are seeing energy lockdowns across Europe. And I assure you, they'll come to America. From Asia, South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Pakistan. We'll go over this with Brett Miller when we come back. To Europe and other regions like Australia and China. These government now imposed restrictions on energy use are beginning to accelerate. And these are mandates like mandatory work from home policies, reduced travel, fuel rationing, consumption limits, price controls. Remember, Jeffrey Tucker mentioned in a chat today, 50% likelihood of price controls here in the US. We also have other emergency measures as well. And it's a disaster. It's a disaster. People are now talking about famine. And we're going to talk about that with Brett Miller when we come back. Completely unnecessary. I want you to remember that throughout this discussion. None of this had to happen. None of this was the result of an imminent threat to anyone. This is entirely contrived, entirely unnecessary. It is depraved, and they're lying to us right to our faces. We have to rise up. We have to rise up peacefully. We have to remove our consent from this president, and we need to move to impeach him, in my opinion. All right, we're going to go to break when we come back. Brett Miller is with us for analysis. He is the CEO of Galileo. He is an expert in communications and foreign policy as well, also domestic. We're going to talk to Brett about how he sees things. And of course, the most important element, how do we prepare? All right. We do not have to be sitting ducks, and we do not have to be victims. And we're not going to be victims. We're going to talk about that with Brett when we come back right here on the SJ Show. Make sure you keep it tuned here. We'll be back in a minute. Hey everyone, I am so proud to recommend Shift Gold to this audience as the gold standard for metals purchasing and investing. I couldn't ask for a better partner to help people understand gold and silver and use them as strategic instruments to protect their family's financial future. Peter Schiff's teaching on markets has shaped my understanding of how economies grow and why they collapse. And I've used them as a critical source for my daily broadcast for over 10 years. The Shannon Joy Show audience already knows and loves Peter because he has been such a treasured educator over the years. He is now the preeminent source for rock-solid financial analysis around the world. And this is because he understands the immutable laws of natural markets and his stalwart unwillingness to veer from absolute truths regardless of economic fads and political pressures. Bottom line, he doesn't sell out. And that means a lot to me. I trust Shift Gold, and you can too. Go to shiftgold.com/joy today to get started. You'll find some of the lowest spot prices for gold and silver and critical information on protecting your retirement savings with a gold or silver IRA. That's www.shiftgold.com/joy. Hedge against the chaos with our friends over at Shift Gold. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Without further ado, let's bring in Brett Miller. Brett Miller, he is our resident prepper, our expert on prep.
Just getting ready,
you know. You have your gas masks ready to go because it's getting real out there.
Let me take this off. I'm dropping everything.
Brett, I saw the best tweet of the day as I was prepping for today's show. And I don't know who it was, but they said, things are going so badly in the war with Iran for Donald Trump that he's going to have to release the Epstein files in order to distract from the war, right? And I'm like...
He is. He really is. He's going to have to just release the files just to get out of this quagmire that we're in.
And all of these things, I mean, it is one thing layered upon another.
Yeah.
The silver lining here, Brett, is that people are waking up in droves to the level of depravity that exists in the highest seats of power in the U.S. And that includes Trump. It includes the Democrats. I mentioned to the audience that my hairdresser was talking about it yesterday. When your hairdresser is talking about this stuff, you know that it is permeated into the culture.
You got the dressers on it.
Is moving, right? And not just my hairdresser. I get it. People talk. Everyone talks politics with me. But Brett Miller, he's the CEO of Galileo. He is also a representative for the satellite phone store, one of the amazing sponsors of the SJ Show, and an expert in a lot of these matters, especially preparedness. What are you making? The discussion right now, what went down last night, Iranian drone and missile strikes in Qatar's key facilities at Ras Laffan Industrial City and Masaid Industrial City, which is, of course, taking out major LNG producing entities, leading to Qatar Energy now declaring force majeure, which is basically the shit has hit the fan. We can't guarantee anything. Things are going to get worse. The ship is going down. Every man for himself. Now, this is also leading to lockdowns. I have a list of all the lockdowns here that we'll go over in a moment across the globe. But what are your thoughts on what's going down here?
Well, I mean, firstly, for a war, has anyone seen any footage of soldier versus soldier? Or are we just bombing oil facilities and cities and civilian populations?
That's right.
Because even with the Ukrainian conflict, we were getting drone footage and soldiers shooting each other and something. I remember the Iraq war, shock and awe. We were getting all kinds of footage, everyone, but I haven't seen a single soldier on soldier. I've only seen oil refineries, infrastructure, food passageways, and cities and towns filled with women and children getting indiscriminately bombed from, three of the largest and most powerful, supposedly the most moral armies in the world. And to be honest, I mean, we're in for it. If you obviously your audience knows I've been harping on it for years, and at this point, I don't even know what to say. I mean, everyone's saying my talking points, and they're not even mine. They were just talking points of like, hey, you should probably prepare because food's going to go up. Precious metals are going to go up. You know, energy's going to go down. This whole great reset idea of you will have nothing and be happy and kind of thing, that was a global plan set out by the major leaders of every nation. And that is what's happening right now. Trump was a lie, and everybody that lied for him, you know, your soul's with God. And I just, whatever they got on these people that are just ushering in this disgusting abomination of a war to destroy humanity, that's where we're at. So, you know, everyone needs to prepare. That you mentioned it earlier. I saw before the break. I was sitting backstage. You said the draft is coming. That's imminent. They already said it. Caroline Levitt said it the other day that nothing's off the table. And 100% they want to kill your Christian children and your Americans and replace you with, you know, people that will work for a penny, a dollar a day in some dystopian third world Elysium Matt Damon movie type world where everyone down here lives like crap and they get to live in their global castle or greater whatever project they're trying to build. So, I mean, the American people need to buckle down
That's
and
right.
get serious. You need to hunker down, join your community. You need to
That's
buy
right.
a solar generator because you are not going to have gasoline. You are not going to have electricity. The Denver airport just lost power. The airport, Ohio highways are, all the lights are out. New Jersey, it's happening too. There are mass power outages happening that the mainstream media is not telling you about. And why is that? Well, a couple reasons. One, they're testing what it'd be like just to, or two, we're under attack. And our infrastructure is what exactly we've been warning people about. It is vulnerable, it is accessible, and it is weak. And here it comes. So, you know, again, without trying to sound like the doomsdayer, doomsday's coming. Like we are going
Well,
to face something in the country that is going to change everyone's opinion on what it's like to live. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not.
yeah. You
So,
know, things
yeah.
we don't do doomer here on the Ask Jay show.
No,
Okay,
I know
we're
you don't. That's
opposite.
why I'm
Okay.
bringing it. I'll bring the doom.
And you know, it's all
Yeah.
in context, right?
Yeah.
It's right. Like here's an example.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'm not disagreeing. Tough times are coming. I'm not disagreeing with you. Very
100%.
tough times are coming. People need to prepare. You need a solar
Right.
generator. You need to get food. Like all of these things, we absolutely have to do. Most importantly, we have to get ready to organize within our own local communities to make sure that the energy is working and that there
Right.
are supply lines for food, that our farmers are able to grow and distribute food. I have a feeling that this type of collaboration and cooperation is going to begin to happen in the United States of America, which is absolutely beautiful, right? We have so many states right now, Brett, who are working on gold and silver as legal tender. They're setting up state sovereign banks. They're also
Right.
acquiring gold and silver in their state coffers to
Mhm.
hedge against the depravity of the federal government. They are emancipating in some way, declaring independence from the predators in Washington, D.C. So there is so much that we can do. So I'm not discounting what you're saying about the trouble coming. The trouble is coming. The
Yep.
trouble is coming, but we have to be very clear-headed. First of all, we can't be afraid, and we have to be very
No.
clear-headed about what these threats are. And one example is this. You know, there was this big post from the New York Post. Another major airline canceling 1,000 flights in
Mhm.
April due to soaring gas prices, and we're going to see some of that. But in context, I mean, it was Scandinavian Air, which is the airline that they are reporting on, and they did cancel 1,000 flights, but they do 800 flights a day. So the vast
Denver is a
majority,
major hub for
yeah,
not only people, it's in the center of the country, and that
yeah,
it's like the third largest airport, but also for Amazon. We have one of the largest Amazon depots out here. So when the flights don't come in, you think you're getting your packages, you think you're getting your stuff. And I'm not preaching
right,
fear. I
right,
just want to be very real with people right
yeah,
now because the realization that your gas is going to go up, that the
yeah,
shelves are going to go bare, if not or barer,
mm-hmm,
and that your food is going to skyrocket. These are
yeah,
real. The
yeah,
fertilizer factories, the fertilizer plants globally are destroyed.
Yeah.
This is growing season now. There is not fertilizer. I think Mike Adams just reported that, what is it, the hydrochloric acid facility, largest hydrochloric acid facility in the world, is just decimated, gone. So there is not that product. Well, that product is in everything. I mean, it's, you maybe not your tap water, hopefully not, but it probably is, knowing these guys. But I'm just saying, like in fertilizers,
Mass
in
culling.
packaging, in fuel,
Sure.
in everything. So when you're watching the global suppliers of major components in global agriculture just get wiped off, and that's, as I know the last time we talked, we are not mentioning the 300 or so food distribution centers that got decimated during the Biden era that people forgot about, and the largest fertilizer plant in Florida that got wiped off the map by some crazy fire. So I don't want to preach fear at all. In fact, I open the Bible every day, and every day, 365 times, it says, fear not, right?
That's right.
Fear not, the Lord is with you. So God is on our side, but we are going to face, as a people, as a culture, as a society, and as a globe, we are going to face a trying time ahead.
Absolutely.
And I just encourage everyone to just be real with yourself. Like,
Yeah.
enough of the glorified podcasters out there that are lying to you and telling you it's a 6D chess and there's no master plan. Like Tulsi Gabbard just told you, like, Iran is not a threat, but Epstein class people need to attack because Israel is going to release the files if they don't. Period. I mean, that's where we're at. So I just want everyone to be real with themselves and take a look around, assess your life. It's essential right now. Yeah.
I don't disagree. Brett Miller, CEO of Galileo, and in the show opener, I called it a controlled demolition. This is not a war. This is a controlled demolition of the key infrastructure necessary for a functioning global economy, the movement of food and resources so that populations can survive and thrive. That is being purposefully demolished, and they're calling it a war. And your assessment, why aren't we seeing actual war? Why is this just decimate? I mean, they're basically just taking out this infrastructure, and they're doing it on purpose, just like the contrived pandemic, so that they can justify the chaos and the destruction and the devastation that is going to come. And then, of course, their control efforts and their control impact. Because remember, these guys are always the arsonists and the firefighters. They set the fire and then they come in to fix the fire, and it's cha-ching all the way down. So every disaster, every chaos has a financial incentive and a financial infrastructure involved to profit. And we saw that in the Epstein files with Jeffrey Epstein. So this is leading energy lockdowns 2.0. And it's fast and furious, the headlines of what is happening in Asia and in Europe. So essentially, we're looking at government-imposed restrictions on energy use across the board. We're looking at mandatory work-from-home policies, reduced travel, fuel rationing, consumption rationing. And this is, across the globe. In Asia, countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, Thailand have introduced measures such as remote working mandates, encouragement to use public transport, temporary university closures, fuel saving restrictions. South Korea has capped fuel prices. Japan is preparing to release strategic crude reserves. Philippines and others are implementing transport movement cutbacks. Pakistan and India have officials reportedly in panic mode over Qatar.
What else do we need? What else do you the world is collapsing. That's like, you just listed off
Europe, gas
15.
prices. Yeah. In Europe, gas prices are surging 35 to 93% in recent days.
Yeah.
Due to Middle East hits. Some reports are mentioning now in Europe COVID-style rationing discussions, including telecommunication, reduced driving in places like Denmark, et cetera, et cetera. Australia is fuel rationing, and China is implementing some of these things as well. Yeah.
MAGA, go Trump.
Another day in paradise here.
Yeah, you just don't understand the plan, minion. You don't get it. You don't get what's going on. You're not getting the payroll. You're not getting the inside. You're not getting the inside deal. Whatever. Like this is,
Yeah.
I love it. Go ahead, keep going.
I mean,
No,
listen,
I mean,
it is what it is. We tried to tell you.
it is.
Okay. I mean, I've been
Yeah,
trying to tell you all for 12 years.
and I'm
Since
telling you right now because it hasn't happened yet.
yeah.
Okay, like the price. I mean, it's happening. Go to the store, try to buy a steak. Tell me it's not more expensive than yesterday. Go to the. I just bought another bag of dog food. It's 5 pounds lighter and $7 more expensive. So it's the exact same packaging.
Remember when they told us that there's no such thing
Shrinkflation.
as food inflation? They're like,
Yeah,
there's no inflation here.
shrinkflation.
We're like,
Yeah,
what
we're
are you?
not getting growthflation. You're not getting it back. That's the
Never.
point. Every one of these little micro steps that happened through COVID, every one of these like test runs, this was all to train you and to get you ready to not fight back, you know? Because
Yeah.
if Joe Biden were doing this right now, or Kamala Harris were doing this right now, everyone would be,
Yes.
I mean, it'd be J6 every single day at the White House, at every national place, but it's not because they lulled everybody, they oorah everyone in with this orange guy. You know, they told you how great he was, how awesome he's going to do. He actually stood on stage. I was 4 rows back when this guy lied right to our faces. There's 2,000 people in the hall, and I'm 4 rows back, and he's lying right to us, telling us all the things he's going to do. He didn't do any of them, and there's a reason for that because it was all a ruse. And I just think it's hard for us. Well, not me, but it's hard for people to wrap their brain around the fact that they've been fooled. Right? It's harder to convince someone that you've been lied to than to lie to someone, right? That whole thing.
Or
And
it's
that's where
harder
we're
to
at right
convince
now.
someone that it's harder to convince someone they've been fooled than to
Right.
fool them, I think, or
Oh,
something
there you go.
like that.
Yeah.
Or something like
So,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, you know, that's where we're at. And,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want it to happen. I want the future. I want my kids to go on dates and drive
They
stick
will.
shift and like, you
They
know,
will.
do this. So, well, yeah, we will
They will.
because, and, you know, maybe if it is biblical and Jesus is coming back, then we all get to live 1,000 years with him, hopefully,
Yeah.
and in like this awesome place. But I mean, whatever's happening right now in your home, in your government, in your country, if you're listening to Shannon Joy right now, it's because you know that something's not right.
Yeah.
And all we want to do here is the same thing that we've been doing is get you the stuff you need, get you the information you need, organize, help you to organize, you know, join our platform, pick up a sat phone. You know, look, I'm giving away this backpack. You sign up for the next 30 days. I'm going to give this backpack use on Galileo. So satnews123.com. This is a $200 bulletproof and Faraday proof backpack.
Nice.
Brand new, as you can see, tag still on it. I'm going to give it away for everyone that signs up using Shannon Joy's promo code on satnews123.com. And then, yeah, go to sat123.com and seriously invest in a generator. Work with your neighbors, team up, get a bug out bag, get something that you don't have, because if you need it, it's not going to be there. And that's just what's happening right now. And I hate to say it, I don't like where we're at. I actually feel kind of fooled. I was along, you know, the tour, and I met all the people and I shook all the hands of the bigwigs, and they told me right to my face, and we were gifting them gear, and we're going to get out of this Biden stuff and we're going to take America back. And
unbelievable.
I got
They're such
nothing.
liars.
They just lied right to my face. They took all of our gear and they happily did so. And then, you know, here we are. But you know, we are still standing strong, and we're working with people that matter, like you, and that are telling the truth. And we just want to get the truth out to everybody because I fear that tough times are ahead.
Absolutely. We're very thankful for the sponsorship of the satellite phone store. They have been such great partners to the Shannon Joy Show for so many years. So that's great, Brett. Satnews123.com. He's giving away a free Faraday bulletproof backpack, which is amazing. I have one right here.
Value.
I sent my oldest son, Jack, to college with his bulletproof Faraday backpack stocked up with everything that he needs if he's going to have to bug out. It's amazing. And they're giving away that for free. You have to use the Joy promo code. So go to satnews123.com. Use that Joy promo code today to sign up for the backpack. And of course, sat123.com/joy is my landing page. Anytime you use the promo code JOY for anything they have there, whether it's a satellite phone plan, a bivy stick, Faraday products, a generator, a solar panel, those type of things, everything is 10% off with my promo code JOY. Now, things are going where I like to leave people, you know, things are pretty bad. But I remember the dark days.
Don't let me ruin your show. I'm sorry. Don't let me bring the dark cloud. I love watching your show.
I've been called a doomer forever. forever. And I always say, people are like, "Oh, you're so miserable." I'm like, I'm actually very cheerful. Like
Your joy.
there
What are you
is
talking about?
right. There's a great amount of peace. Like the truth
Yeah.
will set you free, and the truth
Yes.
will give you peace. And one of the reasons
Amen.
that people are so unsettled is because we are mired in lies and falsehoods and propaganda and in psyop after psyop. And so being
Oh, that's a really great
clear-headed,
point.
is so absolutely important. And I remember this during the dark days of COVID. So like many of you out there, you included, Brett, I knew the day that they locked us down. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, two
Right.
weeks to slow the spread. I knew on day one that nothing was ever going to be the same in my life ever again. I
Right.
went into mourning, full scale mourning for about 6 months. My kids will tell you, I cried every day. I cried every single day at the kitchen table. Lockdowns was the worst thing that
Yeah.
ever happened. It was for me, a lot of people thought, oh yeah, I get a vacation and it's this weird thing. Oh my gosh, we're locked down, blah, blah, blah. But for me at least, I knew what was going to, I knew we were in it for about 10 years. That I knew that nothing was ever going to be the same.
Yeah.
And in that time, I also picked up smoking for a small amount of time. I got a pack of COVID cigarettes and I smoked like a troll in my
Well,
basement.
nicotine turns out it was good
It
for
turns
you. I
out
don't know about the smoking, but the
I
nicotine
never,
part,
right,
there's
I
so
never
much
got
research
COVID.
about that now.
Right, I
Yeah.
never got COVID. And I wonder if it's because of my
Yeah.
smoking habit.
Talk to Brian Artist. Dr. Artist will tell you. He did a
So,
whole thing on nicotine and all that.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so I smoked like a troll in my basement for about 6 months and
I just
was
can't picture that
thoroughly,
with
it was,
you.
I know, it was bad.
It's
Listen, I
not,
was
not
quit for
you.
years and I'm quit again. So no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
But
That's just funny.
um,
I smoked way
so
back too. Don't worry. I'm
oh,
not judging. I was just
yeah,
surprised.
it was, oh, I loved smoking when I was in
Yeah.
college. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
I
that was a doobie. That was a different one.
No, no, I never did drugs. I hate drugs. No, no, just
Oh, okay. Oh,
cigarettes. Just
I was
cigarettes.
talking about me. I smoked little doobies
Yeah,
in college.
only
Sorry.
cigarettes. But
Yeah.
the point being, though, like my mind went everywhere, like
Yeah.
everywhere of how bad it could be. The pandemic, we didn't have a lot of information. Everyone was screaming at me every day that we're
Yeah.
all going to die. We have to, the headlines were just horrifying, one after
Mhm.
another after another. Everything in my mind that I imagined about how bad it could be was not nearly as bad as how it was. It was bad, but in every scenario, there was a way out. There
Yeah.
was a truth. God put something in place that allowed people to resist the lockdown or resist, the masking or the shots, or, I was able to save my business, which, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
want people to understand in terms of moving forward, we have to be clear-headed. We have to be prepared. We have to
Yeah.
begin to devote our
100%.
resources to things that are going to prepare us. Maybe not so many dinners out or movies or frivolous items, all the things that we
Yeah.
use to distract ourselves. Maybe we should use those resources and our money to prepare ourselves and you'll feel
Get
better.
your sushi
Right?
now.
I assure you.
Get your sushi today because it's not going to be here in a month.
But yeah, but I do want people to understand that things, at least in my experience, now could things be like absolutely Mad Max? I suppose, but I think that we as human beings and humanity have suffered under and survived mad kings and horrifyingly wicked rulers since the beginning of time, right?
Yeah.
Since the book of Genesis. We've suffered under them in their oppression. And there are so many examples in human history where we break free from the shackles and there is truth for a while. We've seen that. So that's what I'm going for here on the show. I believe. And then, when Jesus comes back, he comes back. It's not, I don't know when that's going to happen. And no one else does, by the way. So
No
anyone
one
who's doing
does.
the whole,
Nope.
book of Revelations, tribulation, the rapture, no one knows. Okay. Jesus said he didn't even know, only God knows. So, I don't even waste my time with that. But I think that's the posture, at least from my perspective, we need to adopt, because otherwise, Brett, people really are going to go crazy and they're going to they're going to curl up in the fetal position and just not do anything. And we don't want apathy, right? We want people
Well,
to
again, that's the fear. Yeah. And I mean, that was great. You hit on so many awesome points. I would just say I was living in LA when COVID kicked off and I was like, oh, I'm for sure going to die. Like, this is a city. We're all going to die. And
Right.
then I didn't really listen to the rules. I just didn't care. And
Yeah.
my industry was being shut down and everything. And
Yeah.
so I would drive around and it was just me on the highway and I'd see like me and then I get out and just walk around and because I was like, well, I'm gonna die. I might as well just get it over with. And then it'd be like me and the homeless and like dudes with like no shoes, like licking the sidewalk, like the whole
Oh, God.
communities are fine. And I'm like, hang on. Like either these guys have like man of steel immune systems or this is all bull. Like I'm calling this. So
Right.
I knew right away that I was like, well, those guys in
Yeah.
China that are falling over on the street dying, like here I am. Like
Right.
and there's the homeless guy just took a piss and I can like smell it. So I mean I'm clearly not getting his COVID or whatever. So but yeah, sorry, I
That's
don't
so
want to get
funny.
crude. But anyway, like the point is that curl up in a ball, yeah, that's fear. You can't do that. Right now, you need to expand. Everybody
Mhm.
needs to be expanding your knowledge, expanding your war chest, expanding your backup, your supplies, expanding your community, expanding your ability to get the things that you need. If you have one way that you get something in your life, you need to find another way to do that. And the
Right.
only point that I would bring up, and it's not even it's not even an argument against what you were saying. It was just that yes, we did survive kings and tyrants through all of those years, but I would argue that the knowledge and the ability to survive on self and your community was much greater in those times than it is now. I fear
Absolutely.
that now we are very, we're Uber Eats and we're
Yeah.
Amazon and we're like what's on Netflix and what's Fox News tell me I have to do as opposed to,
Mm.
well, there's not a lot on the shelf this year, so I guess I got to go throw some more corn out or, maybe harvest an extra lamb or something this year. You know what I mean? Like I just feel
Right.
like our knowledge base is different. And again, that's why I'm imploring everybody from the bottom of my heart, expand your knowledge, expand your war chest, get to know the things that you don't about your life. Where does
Right.
your water come from? How do you get your power? How do you talk to your loved ones that aren't next to you? Right?
Yeah.
How much food do you have if you can't go to the store, just in case? Or maybe the store just becomes really expensive and you can go sometimes, but you have to, supplement some other types of things,
Right.
in between. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that you may want to just shave a few dollars off your grocery bill now, because when you're going to buy things in a month, it's just very clear that they're going to be more expensive. Nothing is going
Yeah.
down in price, and I think that's the end.
Right.
That's the end of the rant. Nothing is going to go back to the way it was, just like you
Right.
said in the beginning. We're not going back.
Right.
It's only going to get harder. So plan for that.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone's going to have to tighten their belts
Yeah.
and, maybe eat a little less. I think we can probably afford to
What?
do that here in
Oh,
America.
what did Jerome Powell just say yesterday? There have been zero new jobs created in the United States. They expected 99,000, and under Trump's administration, there's been zero.
Crazy.
Zero.
Crazy. Crazy.
Okay. So
Crazy.
you expected 100 grand and you got none.
Unbelievable.
I
Well, and
mean, what?
I
What's
think the
happening?
areas that you talk, I mean, from my perspective, power, water,
Yeah,
communications are really the first things. And
absolutely.
so satellite phone store has all of those elements.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
terms of power, they have the backup generators, they have solar panels, solar generators, and these aren't like the big ones that you could run your whole house on
You
for,
could the 400.
ever. You could
Not
with the
forever.
400?
Yeah, you cycle
Yeah.
them.
You
Cycle
have to
them.
cycle
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I still need to get one, by the way. I still haven't gotten one.
You haven't
You,
gotten yours?
no, I know. I have to talk
That's
to you after the show.
yeah.
Because I'm
I'm
late.
sorry.
I'm busy and lazy, not lazy, but busy.
Sorry.
Um,
I'll
but
get it.
power, water, the filtration, you have filtration
Water
devices,
filters, bug out
so
bags.
important.
Yeah.
And then obviously the communications, that's the bread and
Comms.
butter,
Yeah.
the satellite phone. So when things go down, when there's the rolling blackout or the brownout. And I think that those are things that might become that are going to become more common here in the US as we move forward. Here's a huge silver lining. You ready for as we close up the
Love
show,
it.
Brett
Please.
Miller?
Please.
This is my favorite silver lining of the whole thing. I saw this headline on the twit yesterday. So all of the problems with the energy, okay, because
Right.
it's all coming and it's the end of the world as we know it because of all the energy, um, is now hastening the popping of the AI tech bubble. So all of
Oh
those
yeah.
massive Manhattan size
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg databases that they plan on building all over the country aren't going to have any power because of the oil crisis and the energy shortage. So
Hmm.
AI, big tech, their day is coming. That bubble, people are saying, is about to burst. And it cannot happen too soon because those people, those tech fascists, are among the worst out there. So there's my but of course that comes along with disruptions in your power potentially, and what's happening online. So we're gonna keep an eye on all of it. What do you do, Brett, in terms of your backup? I mean, we only have a couple more minutes left, but in terms of power backup, what do you think is the most important for people to get started in it? What do you think is the most important element?
Yeah, we have all kinds of generators, small ones you can throw in a backpack and large ones that you can't, but can power your home, cycled, power your refrigerator, throw on a heater, boil some water, whatever, and they're all solar powered. So, they are a necessity. 100%. I mean, if your power goes down, the electricity goes out. I mean, if you were stuck in Denver and you didn't have an extra power cell phone charger, a little power bank. If you were in the airport yesterday, your phone went dead and you couldn't call anybody. I mean, it's that simple, right? The power is everything. Everything we do is power, and you can see that. And, I challenge anybody to wake up and not use electricity for one whole day. No electricity, one whole day, and then
we're all gonna have to be Amish now.
I'd say video it, but you can't video it because you'd probably be out of electricity. But I'm just saying, we live like kings. We really do. And I love my life. I love life. I really like people, even though I'm really mad at a lot of them and that's just disappointment more than anything else. Yeah. But, I pray for everybody. I pray for our future. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you are here right now, it's because your family has survived. You are the lineage of survivors from the beginning of man, because where else would you be from if you weren't from the start? That's right. Where did the other humans come to Earth and start a whole nother line? Nowhere. You are here for a reason, and you're going to be tested. We all are. And I just pray for you and prepare, pray, and get ready. You can do this. We can all do this. And we will do this.
That's right. Right back at you, Brett Miller. Really appreciate you. And you are echoing the sentiment. We've had such we've had such encouraging guests this week on the SJ show, from Michael Yan.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Mike.
Doc Malik. I mean, you are echoing his sentiment. It's absolutely true. And I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you contribute on the SJ show on a regular basis. Again, we are giving away, come on now, right now, a free Faraday bulletproof backpack.
Bulletproof.
satnews123.com. That's satnews123.
And can I just clarify real quick?
Yeah.
Sat123.com, Joy, will get you all the gear from our satellite phone store. Galileo, the company I run, is also started and owned by Tina, who started a satellite phone store. Amazing. And Sat News 123, we deliver you all the information. So we're the tech platform. So I just want to clarify that for people so they understand that it's basically the same company, just two different websites. And two different things.
And all you have to do to sign up to win the backpack is put in your email address, and that gets them plugged into the newsletter, and you guys give all kinds of great information about prepping and energy and how to prep and what to prep and where to go. And so I think it's a great proposition altogether. So that's satnews123.com for all of your information. And that's where you can go use that promo code JOY to sign up for the free Faraday bulletproof backpack. And then of course, as you know, sat123.com/joy, that's where you go to shop. And use the Joy promo code so they know I sent you.
Get the gear.
That's
get all
the way it goes.
Gear.
That's the way it goes.
All the backpacks, all the layers, all kinds of gear. Yeah.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for being with us today. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Shannon.
And we'll see you next month, because we'll have you back in. Well, I mean, I don't think there's going to be any shortage of things to talk about, because who knows where we'll be in 30 days.
We may be talking by sat phone with our gas masks on, and we might be using smoke signals, but we're going to get through this, Shannon.
Do you sell gas masks?
No more smoking, young lady.
No more. No more. I reserve the right. If the aliens invade,
I know you do.
Or it's the zombie apocalypse, I reserve the right to buy a pack of smokes.
I mean, like I said, the nicotine thing, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But anyway.
Okay, that's all right.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you, Shannon.
Okay.
Take care.
And thank you guys for being with me today on the SJ Show. You guys are all amazing. Charlotte. Oh, interesting comment. We have Ollie Robin 9. Great to see you on the live chat as well. Be My Valentine says, thank you, Shannon and Brett. Isn't Brett the greatest? He's like such a wealth of information. Ooh, LT Oracle of Truth. I got a gas propane generator last year. I'm like the prepper queen, not the prepper queen, but I like to prepare. I'm into all of it. And I'm a real deadbeat when it comes to getting the generator. It's because I don't understand like all of the ins and outs of it. So I'm horrified by myself. I need to get my generator. Yes, CJP Rumble, they sell generators on the Sat123 website, nice generators. And again, it's always 10% off. So if you get one of the big ones, it's a really great discount. So yeah, it's pretty good. Well, you guys are great. Annie, thank you for producing the SJ show today. Really appreciate you. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors. Of course, the Wellness Company, Shift Gold, PCM Polano, and of course, the Satellite Phone Store. We could not do it without all of them. And I couldn't do this without all of you. You guys are great. For those of you coming to the Summit for Truth and Wellness on Saturday, just a day away. And please pray for us, pray for all of our speakers. We have people flying in from all over the country. We have people flying in from Canada, up from Florida. Of course, our speakers. Let's just pray. The situation in the airlines is a little precarious, and I'm literally like getting 17 gray hairs a second thinking about how everyone is going to get here. So I'm just praying. Angels are over all the flights regarding everyone involved. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. We might have a couple more tickets available for sale at the door for cash. If you're interested, we have closed down ticket sales because we have essentially sold out. So you cannot go to theshannonjoy.com. Email me, Shannon at shannonjoymedia, or no, not that one, the shannonjoyshow@gmail.com. So write this down, the shannonjoyshow@gmail.com. If you are interested, it's in Rochester, New York, Saturday. Doors open at 8:30. Dr. William Makis, Sasha Latapova, myself, among some other great speakers, are going to be there. Full presentation from William Makis and a beautiful luncheon afterwards. Program starts at 9. It's the Summit for Truth and Wellness, our 4th annual. And that's what's going down on Saturday. I can't wait to meet all of you. We're gonna pack about 250 people in that room, which is amazing. And these are organizers, advocates, people from all over the country who get it, who know what's going on. So you're going to be among your people. And there's going to be plenty of room for fellowship and engagement. It's just going to be a fantastic day. So if you are interested in coming to the summit, send me an email. theshannonjoyshow@gmail.com, theshannonjoyshow@gmail.com, and I will see what we can do about cash at the door. All right. So it's going to be great. Keep us in your prayers, and I appreciate all of your prayers. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Tomorrow, I am going to be doing my Bible study with all of you in the morning, right around 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m.-ish. And I do this on Fridays. It's behind the Rumble Premium paywall. And we just basically, right now we're in the book of Daniel. I use my children's Bible, and we have a little bit of discussion, and I absolutely love it. It's like my favorite time of the week. No prep, no makeup, no hair. It's from my home, no production. It's just you and me. And we read a little bit from the book of Daniel, and it's just really super fun. So if you guys want to join, you don't have to be a Christian. If you're just interested or curious and you just want to hang out, I would love to see you. That's tomorrow. We'll say 9:30 a.m. right here on the SJ Rumble channel. We'll chat for a few minutes and then go behind that premium paywall and commence with our Bible study. So let your friends know. If you're watching today and you like the show on any of our platforms, please give us a thumbs up, a like, a comment. Join me on the live chat. I love hearing from all of you. Like and share. And this is how the SJ show grows. It is completely organic. I want to encourage all of you also to sign up for my daily news blast, my e-blast. It's at theshannonjoy.com, theshannonjoy.com. That's where you sign up for the daily e-news blast, and it's how I connect with all of you. So you guys are great. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow in the morning to do it all again right here on the SJ show.